My girlfriend told me her ex-boyfriend was moving into our apartment. Not asking, telling. I had about 12 hours before they showed up with the U-Haul, so I made some calls. Let me back up. Tuesday morning, I'm getting ready for work. Vanessa comes out of the bedroom with her phone. Says we need to talk. I'm thinking date night plans or something. Wrong. She tells me her ex-boyfriend Derek is going through a rough time. Lost his job, got evicted, has nowhere to go. She wants him to stay with us for a few weeks until he gets back on his feet. In our apartment, the one-bedroom apartment that I pay for. I put my coffee down, ask her if she's serious. She says, completely serious, that Derek has always been there for her, that he's like family, that we have the space. I look around our one-bedroom apartment, ask where exactly he's sleeping. She says the couch, for a few weeks. I ask why his own family can't help. She says they're complicated. He needs friends right now. I ask why she didn't discuss this with me first. She says she's telling me now, that he's already on his way. Driving from 2 states over, should be here tonight around 8. I'm standing there processing this. My girlfriend wants her ex-boyfriend to move into our apartment tonight, and she's just now telling me. I ask how long they dated. She says 3 years. They broke up 4 years ago. Stayed friends. I ask if I get a say in this. She says it's already decided, that I'm either supportive or I'm not the man she thought I was. I look at her, tell her okay, if that's how it is. She seems surprised. Says really? I say sure. The more the merrier. She smiles, kisses me, says she knew I'd understand that this is temporary. Derek will be gone before I know it. She leaves for work. I sit there thinking about how she just decided this. Didn't ask, told me her ex was moving in and expected me to just accept it. In my apartment, the lease is only in my name. She's been staying here 3 weeks, moved some clothes in, keeps a toothbrush. But her lease at her old place doesn't end until next month. Still has her apartment across town. Mail still goes there. Driver's license still shows that address. We talked about her moving in for real next month when her lease ends, but right now she's just visiting. Extended visiting, that's important. She's not officially living here, just staying over most nights. Not a tenant, just a guest. I make a phone call. My buddy Frank owns a moving company. I ask if he's got a crew available today. He asks what's up. I explain the situation. He starts laughing, says he'll make it happen. I give him my address, tell him I'll meet them there at 3. Then I call the leasing office, explain I need to break my lease. Personal emergency, family situation, need to move fast. The woman asks when. I say this week. She pulls up my file, says I've been a good tenant. 2 years, always paid on time. Breaking the lease early means 60 days notice or 2 months rent penalty, $4,000. I say I'll pay it. When can I be out? She says if you can be fully cleared out by end of week, I'll process the termination Friday morning. Bring the keys then. I say deal. I call my brother, tell him what's happening. He says she did what? I repeat it. He says you're letting her ex move in? I say no, I'm moving out. She can figure out what to do with Derek on her own. He asks where I'm going. I say I'll figure it out. He says come stay with me. Guest room is yours. I say thanks. Then I tell him I need help moving tomorrow. He says I'll take the day off work. I call my boss, say I need Wednesday and Thursday off. Personal emergency. He says no problem. Hope everything's okay. I say it will be. I go to work, sit at my desk, can't focus, leave at noon. Stop by a storage facility on the way home, rent a unit. 10 by 10, month to month, pay the first month, get the keys. I get home around 1. Vanessa is at work until 6. I've got time. Start going through everything, make a list, my furniture, my dishes, my TV, my electronics, pretty much everything. Vanessa moved in 3 weeks ago with 2 rolling suitcases and a duffel bag. That's it. She's got clothes in the closet, toiletries in the bathroom, some snacks she bought, a few books. But the furniture is all mine. Bought it before we started dating. None of it is shared. I take photos of everything. Document what's mine, what's hers. Want a clear record. I also grabbed the spare apartment key, the one I gave Vanessa to use. It's on the kitchen counter where she leaves it during the day. I pocket it. Both keys will go back to the leasing office. Frank shows up at 3 with his crew. 2 guys, big truck. I let them in, show them what's going. The big stuff. Couch, bed frame and mattress, dresser, TV stand, kitchen table and chairs. They start loading, moving it to the storage unit across town. I tell them to take their time, do it right. I'll pack the smaller stuff myself tomorrow. They work until about 6. The apartment looks empty, but my personal items are still here. Clothes in the closet, dishes in cabinets, books, laptop, all the small things. The crew leaves. I thank Frank. He says, "Good luck, man. You're doing the right thing." I look around. The furniture is gone, but it's not completely empty. I leave everything as is. Grab my laptop and important documents, put them in my car. Then I leave. I get to my brother's house around 7. He's home from work, asks how it went. I say first phase done. Furniture is in storage. Going back tomorrow to get the rest. My phone rings at 8:15, Vanessa. I let it ring. Then texts start coming in. Where are you? Why does the apartment look weird? Where's the couch? Call me. What's going on? Then more calls. I don't answer. 8:30, my phone rings from a different number. I answer. Guy's voice says, "Is this Vanessa's boyfriend?" I say, "Who's this?" He says, "Derek." I'm at her apartment building. She's freaking out. Says all the furniture is gone. What's going on? I say the furniture was mine. I moved it out. He's quiet. Then says she told me this was all arranged, that you were cool with me staying there. I say she told you wrong. I found out this morning. Wasn't asked, was told. So I'm moving out. He says, but I drove 8 hours with all my stuff. I say that's unfortunate. You should probably talk to Vanessa about where you're actually staying. Click, Vanessa calls immediately. I answer. She's crying, saying the apartment is empty, that Derek is here with a U-Haul full of stuff that they have nowhere to put it. I stay calm, tell her I moved my furniture out. She says I can't do that. I say I can. It's my furniture, my apartment. She says, where is she supposed to sleep? I say, you have your own apartment. Your lease doesn't end for another month. She goes quiet. Says her place is tiny, a studio. I say, then you'll be cozy. She says, this isn't funny. That Derek needs help. I say, then help him at your place, not mine. She's crying harder now. Says I'm ruining everything. I say, you made a decision without me. I made one without you. Now we're even. She says, where are you? I say, that's not your concern. She says, are we breaking up? I say, I don't know. But I'm not living with your ex-boyfriend. That's not negotiable. I hang up. My brother is watching. Says that was cold. I say she tried to move her ex into my place. He nods. Says when you put it that way, I sleep well that night. Better than I have in weeks. Wednesday morning I head back to the apartment. Vanessa isn't there. Probably stayed at her studio with Derek last night. I pack up everything else that's mine. Clothes, dishes, small electronics, books, personal items. My brother shows up at 9. We load everything into both our vehicles. Make 2 trips to the storage unit. By early afternoon the apartment is completely cleared of my belongings. Only things left are Vanessa's 2 suitcases in the closet, her toiletries in the bathroom, her books, the few decorations she brought. That's it. I take photos of the empty apartment with her stuff in the corner. Document everything. I text Vanessa. Your stuff is still in the apartment. Mine is gone. You've got until Friday to figure out what you're doing. She doesn't respond. Thursday I spend organizing the storage unit with my brother. Get everything arranged properly. Evening comes. My phone has been quiet. No calls from Vanessa. I assume she's dealing with her situation. Friday morning I go to the leasing office at 9. The property manager is ready for me. She's got the paperwork prepared. I sign the lease termination. She processes the $4,000 penalty. I write a check. Cashier's check I got from the bank yesterday. She gives me a receipt. I hand her both sets of keys, mine and the spare. She takes them, says she's sorry to see me go, that I was a good tenant, asks if everything is okay. I say personal situation, needed a change. She nods, doesn't push. She says they'll do a final walkthrough Monday, that Vanessa's belongings are still there. I say Vanessa isn't on the lease. She was staying as my guest. Her actual apartment is across town. The manager looks concerned, says so those belongings, I say, are hers to remove. She has her own place to take them to. The manager nods slowly, says, understood, she'll follow protocol. I leave. Officially done with that apartment. Clean break. I spend the weekend settling into my brother's guest room. It's temporary but comfortable. Start looking at new apartments online. Found a few possibilities. Monday afternoon Vanessa calls. First time since Tuesday night. I answer. She's not yelling, just sounds tired. Says the leasing office called her. Said the apartment lease is terminated, that she needs to remove her belongings by Wednesday or they'll be considered abandoned. I say okay. She says, you really did it? You really moved out? I say, yes. She's quiet. Then says, where does this leave us? I say, I don't know. She says, can we talk in person? I think about it. Say, okay. Where? She says, coffee shop near her studio. Tomorrow afternoon. I say, fine. Tuesday I meet her at the coffee shop. She's already there. Looks exhausted. Probably been sleeping on her studio floor with Derek. I sit down. She starts with an apology. Says she knows she handled everything wrong, that she should have discussed it with me first, that Derek called her desperate and she panicked. Made a bad decision. I listen. Don't interrupt. She says Derek ended up renting a storage unit for his stuff. That he's been sleeping on her studio floor. That it's awful. That her landlord is asking questions, that she might get evicted for having an unauthorized person there. I say that sounds difficult. She says, can we fix this? Can she come back? I say, come back where? She says, to your place. I say, I don't have a place anymore. Broke the lease. She stares at me, says, you actually broke it. I nod. She says, where are you living? I say, my brother's. Where's all your stuff? I say, storage. She's processing this. She says, you did all that because I wanted to help Derek. I say, no. I did all that because you made a major decision about my home without discussing it with me. You didn't ask. You announced. Then expected me to just go along with it. She's quiet. I say, here's the thing, Vanessa. It's not about Derek. It's about how you operate. You make decisions and expect everyone to comply. That's not a partnership. She says she understands that now. That she's learned. I say maybe. But I'm not interested in being the test case for whether you really have or just think you have. She starts crying. Says she doesn't want to lose me. I say, you should have thought about that before. She asks if there's any chance for us. I say, honestly, I don't know. Right now I'm focused on my own situation. Not interested in drama. She asks what she should do. I say, figure out your Derek situation. Get your stuff out of the apartment. Handle your business. I'm handling mine. She nods. Says, okay. We sit there for a minute. Then she gets up. Says she should go. I say, take care of yourself. She leaves. My brother asks me that night how it went. I tell him. He asks if I feel bad. I say no. She made a choice. I made one too. He says that's fair. Over the next 2 weeks, I hear through a coworker who knows Vanessa's roommate from before that Derek found a room to rent, that he moved out of Vanessa's studio. That Vanessa seemed relieved. I don't reach out. Not my business anymore. 3 weeks after everything started, I find a new apartment. 1 bedroom, different neighborhood. Better actually. Sign the lease. My name only. My brother helps me move everything out of storage that weekend. We set up my new place. Feels good, fresh start. My space, my rules. I don't tell Vanessa, don't tell mutual friends, keep it quiet. But somehow she finds out. A mutual friend named Sarah calls me. Says Vanessa asked her if she'd heard from me. Sarah said no, but she'd seen my car at a new apartment complex when she was visiting someone there. Must have mentioned it to Vanessa. Vanessa texts, says she heard I got a new place. Says she's happy for me. Asks if we can meet again. I think about it. Decide sure. Why not? We meet at the same coffee shop. She looks better, less stressed. Says Derek is gone, has his own place now. Says the whole situation was a disaster. That she learned a lot, that she wants another chance. I ask what exactly she learned. She says that she can't just make decisions, that relationships require discussion, communication, consideration. I say those are good words. She asks if we can try again. I say no. She looks hurt, asks why not if she's learned her lesson. I say because learning something and proving it are different things, that maybe she has learned. But I'm not interested in being the person who finds out if she really changed or if she's just saying what I want to hear. She's quiet, then asks if there's any chance in the future. I say I don't know. Right now, I'm good where I am. Single, my own place, no drama. That feels right for me. Says she understands. Thanks me for meeting her. Leaves. Time passes, a month, then another. I settle into my new apartment. Work is going well. Started going to the gym regularly again. Picked up cooking as a hobby, making actual meals instead of ordering in. Life is calm, simple. Mine. 2 months after the breakup, I'm at the grocery store. See Derek in the checkout line. We make eye contact. He nods. I nod back. Neither of us says anything. Nothing to say really. We both move on. 3 months in, Vanessa's mom calls. Haven't heard from her since everything happened. She says hi, asks how I'm doing. I say good. She says she heard what happened, got Vanessa's version, then got another version from someone else, wants to hear it from me. I give her the facts. Vanessa told me Tuesday morning her ex-boyfriend was moving into my apartment. That night, he was already driving from 2 states away. I moved out instead, took my furniture, broke my lease, started over. Her mom is quiet, then says that must have been shocking. I say it was. She says Vanessa told her I overreacted, that I abandoned her. I say I removed myself from a situation I didn't agree to. I wasn't asked about this decision, I was informed. She sighs. Says when you explain it that way, it makes sense. She asks if I think Vanessa has grown from this. I say I don't know. That's not my concern anymore. She says that's sad, that she thought I might be the one. I say I thought so too, until I saw how she handles major decisions. Her mom says she understands, apologizes for how things turned out. I say it is what it is. We hang up. 4 months later, I'm at a friend's party, run into some mutual friends. People who know both me and Vanessa. They're awkward at first. Then someone asks what really happened between us. Says Vanessa told them I just left out of nowhere. I give them the short version. Vanessa decided her ex-boyfriend was moving into my apartment. Told me the morning of. He was already on his way. I chose to move out. Broke my lease. Took my furniture. Started fresh. They're shocked. One says Vanessa made it sound like you abandoned her for no reason. I say there was a reason, a major one. They apologize for believing her version without asking mine. I say it's fine. They ask how I'm doing. I say better than ever, actually. Someone asks if I'd ever consider getting back together. I say no. They ask why not if she's sorry. I say because sorry doesn't change patterns. She made a unilateral decision about my living space, about who I'd share my home with. That's a fundamental respect issue. You don't just apologize that away. 6 months out, I'm doing really well. Work promotion came through. New apartment feels like home. Been on a few casual dates, nothing serious. Taking my time, figuring out what I actually want. I want someone who communicates, who discusses major decisions, who considers how their choices affect me. Basic partnership things. Shouldn't be revolutionary, but apparently it is. I hear through Sarah that Vanessa moved to a different city. New job, fresh start. Good for her. Hope she learned something. Hope the next guy doesn't have to deal with surprise ex-boyfriends. My dad calls one evening, says he finally heard about the breakup. Months late, but that's Dad. Asks what happened. I tell him the whole story. He's quiet for a minute, then says I did the right thing, that a man needs boundaries, that when someone disrespects you that badly, you remove yourself. Says he's proud of me, that I handled it with dignity. Didn't yell, didn't make a scene, just left. Coming from my dad, that means something. He doesn't do emotions, doesn't give compliments. I say thanks. He says don't let anyone treat you like that again. I say I won't. He says good. Hangs up. My brother and I are having dinner one weekend. He brings up the whole situation, asks if I ever wonder what would have happened if I'd handled it differently. If I'd let Derek stay for a few days then kicked him out, I say no. Because that's not the point. The point isn't Derek. It's that she made a major decision without me. If I'd stayed and dealt with it, I'd be teaching her that's acceptable, that she can decide things and I'll handle the fallout. Next time, it would be something else. Plans made without asking, money spent without discussing, decisions that affect us both made unilaterally. He says so it was bigger than the ex-boyfriend. I say exactly. Derek was the symptom. The problem was how she operates. Making decisions and expecting compliance. That's not partnership, that's dictatorship. He nods, says you definitely did the right thing then. I say I know I did. 8 months later, I'm in a completely different place. New apartment feels like home. Work is great. Started seeing someone new, taking it slow. But she's different. Actually asks about my thoughts, discusses plans before making them, cares about my opinion. Novel concept. I don't think about Vanessa much anymore. Sometimes something reminds me. A restaurant we went to, a show we watched. But it doesn't hurt. Just a memory. Part of my past, not my present. Someone asked me recently if I regret how I handled it. If it was too extreme? I said no, not even slightly. She showed me exactly who she was. Someone who makes major life decisions without consulting their partner. I believed her, and I acted accordingly. They said it seemed harsh. I asked what they would do if their partner tried to move an ex into their home without asking. They didn't answer. That's the thing. It's easy to judge from outside, to say I should have been more understanding, more patient, more willing to compromise. But they weren't the ones being told their girlfriend's ex-boyfriend was moving in tonight. They weren't the ones expected to just accept it. I was, and I chose not to. I chose myself, my peace, my boundaries, and I'd make the same choice every single time. My brother says I dodged a bullet, that if she'd do that before any serious commitment, imagine what would come later. When there's real stakes, shared finances, maybe kids. He's right, she showed me who she was. I just paid attention. The ring I was planning to give her eventually is still in my dresser drawer. Don't know what to do with it. Thought about selling it, but that feels wrong. Maybe I'll keep it. A reminder of what I don't want, what real partnership looks like, and what it definitely doesn't. I'm not bitter, not angry, just clear. Clear about what I want, what I deserve, and what I won't accept. Someone who respects me enough to discuss major decisions. Who sees me as a partner, not someone who just goes along with whatever they decide. Who understands that relationships are two people choosing each other every day, not one person deciding for both. And if I never find that, I'm fine being alone, because being alone is better than being with someone who doesn't respect you, better than living in a situation you never agreed to, better than teaching someone it's okay to disregard you as long as they apologize after. I learned that lesson. Won't need to learn it again. Life is good now, quiet, simple, mine. No drama, no ex-boyfriends, no surprises, just me figuring out what comes next. And whatever that is, it'll be my choice, not someone else's decision I'm expected to accept. That's worth everything. Worth the $4,000 lease break, worth starting over, worth all of it. Because at the end of the day, I still have my self-respect, my boundaries, my peace, and nobody can take those unless I let them. Vanessa tried? I said no, and that made all the difference.